everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Hakuoki Kyoto Wins. We are on Nagakura Shinpachi's route, and I believe all of our endings will be in this episode. Pretty sure, but we'll see as we go along. Amagiri just came to stop Nagakura's murderous fury rampage. So let's check up on him now. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. As quickly as he'd appeared, Amagiri turned and vanished instantly. I won't let what Amagiri said come to fruition. That much I can promise. Because Nagakura will always be Nagakura. I tried to wake Nagakura as he lay collapsed on the floor with his mouth slightly open.
Ugh. Ouch. Jeez, my tummy hurts.
Tummy? Nagakura? Nagakura? His eyes opened gradually, as if he'd awoken from a night of heavy drinking. Punch drunk. Oh, I'm glad to see you. Are you okay, Nagakura?
Huh?
He swiftly rose to his feet, looking around him.
Whoa, Chizuru, are you alright? Where'd those guys go? How's Gen doing?
Oh, you stopped them all, Nagakura. You saved me, but Inoue had been shot. He verified that all the men were dead by constantly looking at the ground, as if assuring himself, and he finally seemed to relax. Then he gazed at Inoue with forlorn eyes, touching the old man's body gently. Oh, poor Gen.
Wait, I thought I'd been shot, and after that... Damn it, what's going on?
You don't remember? Nagakura had trouble putting together the pieces of his memories, scratching his chin thoughtfully. Could Nagakura really have forgotten? Did he forget drinking the water of life earlier? If he truly had no recollection of these events, then it was clear what my responsibility was. No, the bullet just grazed your head, and in blind rage you subdued the enemies. No, you gotta let him know what happened, Chizuru. You can't not tell him he's a fury. Then, after you defeated them, you collapsed from exhaustion. You had me so worried. Nagakura seemed dumbfounded as I desperately tried to convince him of this story. This is such a terrible idea. Soon after, though, his cheeks became rosy, and he picked at them nervously.
Well, I don't really remember much, but I kept you safe, huh?
Yes.
That's good. As long as I protected you, that's all that matters.
It seems as though Nagakura was satisfied, and a sense of relief seemed to wash over him. Shouldn't the sunlight be bothering him already? The wander of his gaze through his surroundings, however, brought a sad look to his face.
Really crappy what happened again, though.
Inoue protected me.
Right, I know. Gen, I want to take you to Osaka, but for now, forgive me and let me bury you here. Mind helping me out?
Of course. Nagakura and I buried Inoue's remains a small distance from the forest path. To us, at least, the last we saw of Inoue as we laid him into the ground seemed peaceful. After this task, we'd headed back for Osaka Castle, where the Shinsengumi were waiting. Final chapter. Nagakura and I arrived at Osaka Castle on the cusp of dusk.
Shinpachi, you bastard! You're safe! You had us so worried. Yeah, but Gen's done.
What do you mean, done?
The Yodo betrayed us, and some scumbag shot him up. He took about 10 men with him.
Gen, I see. Kono and Hijikata won't want to hear this.
Yeah, Chizuru and I buried him.
As Nagakura and Harada exchanged the tragic news, Saito suddenly joined their conversation.
Glad to see you safe, Yukimura.
Nagakura and Inoue protected me. As I responded to him, he turned to face Nagakura, whose dejected face piqued Saito's curiosity.
Yeah, couldn't tell you much if I'm being honest.
Nagakura seemed hesitant to speak about the period in which he lost consciousness, so he glanced up at the castle to change the subject.
So, what's the word on defending the castle? Any updates from the front line?
Oh, about that. Harada looked away, followed soon after by Saito, and he brought his voice to a murmur. Huh? This gave me a bad feeling. one I was right about. Allegedly, once the Shinsengumi had gotten to the castle, the Supreme Commander, Lord Yoshinobu, had already fled to Edo aboard his ship. In my mind, such terrible leadership was unforgivable, but supposedly it was necessary. The Satsuma Choshu troops were seen marching under the banner of the gold brocade flag, which was a symbol reserved for the true imperial army. This meant the shogunate were marching against the empire's official military body, which could label it as the enemy of the state. Lord Yoshinobu's discovery of this fact made continuing the war a less than palatable endeavor. To top it off, Katamori Matsudaira, the Kyoto military commissioner and supervisor to the Shinsengumi, had departed with Lord Yoshinobu. The evacuation of the shogunate's executive leadership was told to no one, a bitter move. As soon as news of this was brought public, the shogunate army forces retreated to Edo like snow avalanching down a mountain. God, what a mess. The Shinsengumi, for whatever it was worth, were the only soldiers remaining who had held Osaka Castle. Hijikata was pressed into making a decision, and ultimately he was forced to retreat to Edo as well. When Nagakura learned all of this, he'd nearly blown a blood vessel from anger.
What the hell? What Supreme Commander up and ditches his men? That's unheard of! Enemy of the state? Who cares? Osaka Castle is more than enough to stop them all! I always hated the Mito feudal lord. He always kisses the Imperial's ass. Hey, Hijikata, let's just do it all on our own. We still got time.
Sorry, Shinpachi. The wheels are in motion.
Damn it.
Hijikata later became preoccupied with preparing the forces for their eventual move to Kyoto. Nagakura, on the other hand, couldn't shake this lingering funk, sulking and locking himself in. No matter how much Harada, Saito, or myself called out for him, he'd stayed locked in his room. That's when the idea came to me. I scavenged the Osaka Castle kitchen, scouring for food. I'm sure Nagakura would become hungry eventually. That's one way to his heart. If he ate something, maybe he'd cheer up, especially if it's cooked by me. Even if I had planned on cooking something, the kitchen seemed almost unusable. Or rather, I remembered it was forbidden to start a fire within the castle for safety reasons. Despite this circumstance, I finally found a batch of roasted rice stashed away for emergencies. With hot water, I found a way to soften the rice, and I took it to Nagakura. I went to the back corridor of Osaka Castle, and I found Nagakura alone in a hallway. He was sitting alone, and he was gazing into the starry sky above. I was surprised to see he'd left his room. Finally unbarricaded himself. This alone brought me a sense of joy to see. Nagakura, would you like to eat? It isn't much, but I made something for you. I handed the bowl to him, but Nagakura chuckled darkly, and he sighed before answering in a low voice.
Oh, food, huh? Thanks, but I don't really have an appetite. Did you eat Chizuru?
I'll eat later.
Can you eat this for me? I'm starting to think I don't get hungry because my body's going through some changes.
That doesn't make any sense, you would think, being a Fury. Since they burn more calories, they would need more food. Or maybe he's just craving blood already. Oh no, is Nagakura beginning to realize? Does he remember what happened to him? What should I do? No matter how much I tried to avoid it, I knew I couldn't hide it for much longer. This much at least I was sure of.
Heisuke told me that he could eat normal food too.
Oh, does he know? Nagakura, As I stumbled through my attempt to lie, Nagakura took the initiative and spoke aloud kindly.
Yeah, I think I remember. I got shot, I fell down, then I drank the serum. So I'm a Fury now, eh? It's all kind of fuzzy, but I remember Gen saying...
Nagakura remembered everything. As I tried to replay this moment in my head, I recalled how useless I'd felt, and my body shook while the tears dripped down my cheeks. Nagakura, I'm so sorry. All I could do was just watch. I couldn't stop Inoue. I'm so sorry. I needed something to hold on to, so I grabbed onto Nagakura's sleeves tightly and hung my head. His large, gentle hand kindly patted the top of my head comfortingly. Eventually, he began to speak warmly as I continued to hold his arms.
Told you, didn't I? It's all a blur to me. He told me to protect you and not to die yet, that only I could protect you. So, I made the promise to him, didn't I? That's why Gen made me drink it. I think he also told me I'd probably hate him for it, but I don't hate him for that.
Nagakura, I looked at him with puffy, sore eyes, but Nagakura smiled back at me all the same. Oh, he's such a sweetheart.
Don't cry, Chizuru. I gave my word I'd keep you safe. Gen made me promise it. I couldn't hate him. If anything, I thank him. Besides, no matter what happens between us, you're the one who said we can figure it out as long as you're alive, Chizuru.
Then Nagakura gave his usual bouncy laugh.
Well, the fact I'm a fury now can't be helped. Gotta figure it all out as I go. Anyways, as soon as we go to Edo, we'll start fresh. It's a pleasure, Chizuru.
Okay. As the moonlight shone brightly in the sky, Nagakura gave me a smile to match. We've only just begun. Every time they say that, it makes me think of that Karen Carpenter song and then the movie 1408. Stephen King with Samuel L. Jackson and all. You'd have to watch it if you don't know what I'm talking about. But, finally we have Nagakura's route and can't wait to actually see how it turns out in Edo Blossoms. Out of the 3 veteran guys who actually got new routes in this game, he definitely had the most individual material, I think. I mean, even considering his common route material that was in these videos, I'm pretty sure, to me it feels like he had more material than Yamazaki and Sanin did. I think Sanin got gypped the most. I really cannot wait to get to Sanin because I just feel for him so much. I'm like, I feel so bad for him. I just want to fix him. And it's always dangerous for a woman to want to fix a guy, but in games, it's okay because you actually can. Except for in the bad endings. Yeah, so once these credits finish, we'll go after his tragic love ending and then his bad ending. And here's our epilogue, which is probably the same epilogue that it always is. January 1868. The Battle of Tobu-Fushimi ended with the Satsuma Choshu victorious. As the shogunate troops retreated, the Shinsengumi headed toward Edo. 4 years ago, I came to Kyoto all by myself, in search of my father, and met the Shinsengumi. I'm going to leave the city of Kyoto, where I made fond memories with the Shinsengumi. During battle, he was drawn into a fate he did not wish for, and I have chosen to walk alongside him. We're going to head to Edo, without knowing what fate awaits us. His was slightly different. And so for Tragic Love, we go to Record of Service, all the way down to Chapter 5. Shinpachi, Low Romance, and skip till we come to the first decision. For the first choice, we have to say, you'll come back, right? So something different already. You'll come back, right?
Yup, of course I will. Don't worry about a thing. Just wait here for me.
I have to respond firmly, or I was sure that Nagakura would remain troubled. So, with all the energy I could muster, "Alright, be careful out there, Nagakura." Nagakura smiled at me warmly, and he walked away to return to the battlefield. And here at our next choice, I'm going to save because this is where I can just return to this spot to get the bad ending. Alright, so for the Tragic Love ending, we have to choose It's Not Over Yet. And we have reached the point where, Nagakura came to the rescue, but they were shooting at him. I could hear Nagakura's voice. I heard it, but I can't go.
Please, go! Go!
His pained roar snapped me out of my daze, and I ran for it. Behind me, I could hear his voice screaming out.
Don't look back! Keep running!
Okay, I will. I repeated his words over and over, running straight without ever looking back. The bitter pang of gunshots ran behind me, but I heeded his words and didn't look back. I ran. I don't remember how or to where, but somehow I got myself back to where the Shinsengumi were, learning that they were preparing to leave for Edo. I had told them all that had happened with Nagakura and Inoue, and Harada and Saito ran out. There was nothing else I could do. For myself, I headed for Osaka Castle, along with the retreating Shinsengumi parties. Before I realized it, night had fallen. One after another, Shinsengumi warriors late in their escape had started to return finally. Some were exhausted, and some had some gruesome injuries, but they seemed to have a sense of great relief that they made it back safely, if at all. But I knew this relief was fleeting, since the news of the battle was less than positive. By this time, the shogunate had almost completely retreated from both Kyoto and Osaka. The supreme commander, Lord Yoshinobu, had already escaped to Edo by ship. He had taken Katamori Matsudaira, the Shinsengumi superior who had held the position of Kyoto military commissioner, with him to Edo. Since Lord Yoshinobu wasn't there to give orders, war could not continue from Osaka Castle. Hijikata was furious, and, very painfully, he had to accept the retreat. It was a day filled with bad news for the Shinsengumi, but I couldn't care less about any of that right now. I buried my head in my knees in the corner of the room where everyone had gathered. It was almost impossible for me to pull myself up from where I'd sat, thinking back to what had happened to Nagakura and Inoue. They were shot. What became of them? Please, return safe. That was all I could wish for.
Are you okay, Yukimura?
A voice suddenly came from above my head. When I realized it was Saito, I slowly peeked up from my knees.
Hey, just got back.
Above me stood both Saito and Harada, both of them looking incredibly fatigued. I jumped up quickly in the hopes of pressing them for an answer. Saito, Harada, welcome back. Any word on Inoue and Nagakura? They must have sensed the desperation in my voice. Saito didn't even look me in the eye as he answered.
Again, didn't make it.
This was the worst response I'd expected. But it was something I knew was coming. His words hit me like a dull knife, and I went cold. Tears began to well in my eyes. Then I had to take a deep breath, mustering the courage to ask about the safety of the other one. I see. So, and what of Nagakura? This time it was Harada who showed reluctance to answer. This alone, however, still gave me no clue, so this must mean Nagakura hadn't survived, just as I began to consider the thought.
Well, Shinpachi was alright.
Wait, what? Really? Oh goodness, I'm so glad to hear it. A rush of relief and joy overcame me. He was safe. Where is he then?
Hey, Shin, show your face at least, will ya?
Harada turned and beckoned to a figure behind him, who appeared to be Nagakura, watching from a slight distance very timidly. What the hell? Nagakura, welcome back!
Huh? Yeah, I'm back, Chizuru.
I'm so glad. Are your wounds okay? Weren't you shot at over and over again? I'll need to treat you immediately, so I'll... Nagakura suddenly cut me short.
Well, about that, you heard the news about us heading to Edo, yeah?
Huh? Well, yes. What about it? I stopped myself as his words registered. That wasn't really my concern at the moment. I have to clean his wounds right away.
We'll take you to Edo, but after that, you think you could leave the Shinsengumi?
No, there are demons after me. Why? Why do they always do this? They totally keep forgetting. If I leave the Shinsengumi, I'm totally open to Kazama or my dad, snatching me right up. Got no protection at all. Why do you guys keep forgetting it? As these words entered my ears all of a sudden, my mind went blank as if time had stopped. What did he just say? Leave? Why? My voice was trembling. Words escaped me. Nagakura refused to face me as he paced around the room, but he continued to speak.
Please don't ask questions. I can't tell you. But you shouldn't be involved with the Shinsengumi anymore. Sano will take good care of you till you hit Edo. Sorry.
But Nagakura, why?
We'll figure out what to do about your father, so please don't get involved with us anymore. Sorry, I no longer have the right
Nagakura briskly turned around, then walked off. All I could do was watch as his back grew smaller. That's when I had realized Nagakura was shot in the back from a bullet. However, he showed no sign of harm on his back. I have no idea what could have happened from the moment I had left him on... There was no way of truly knowing. But I could imagine. It has to be the result he'd wished for the least. As soon as I began to put the pieces together, I decided that I should honor his request. Because if I were to remain around him, I knew I just caused Nagakura more trouble. I never wanted to cause him trouble ever again. So I'd chosen to leave them forever. And thus concluded my journey, told over the last 4 years with the Shinsengumi. And then I get kidnapped by Kazama and used to breed demon babies for the rest of my life. Thanks a lot, Nagakura. But that was really disappointing. That wasn't even tragic love. That was just giving up love. Oh well, we still had the bad ending to go. Nagakura, you have so disappointed me. I guess they couldn't actually kill him off because, history. They're actually starting to stick to history to a certain degree. Maybe? I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. All I know is that Nagakura is one of the guys who forgot that I was pursued by demons and left me to the jackals. Okay, and for the bad ending, we go back to that save that I made. And choose That's Unfortunate. You've all worked so hard. That's unfortunate. I could tell how frustrating it was for Nagakura. All that effort to end up retreating like this. Just as this thought was simmering in my mind, Nagakura regained his composure and began to mutter aloud.
Honestly, Hijikata's way is probably what's best for us. At this rate, the Fushimi magistrate will fall. I know that already. We can't help it. I guess I'll start preparing for Osaka Castle.
Nagakura tried to shake himself to reality. Right. I decided that I'd follow suit and get on board with the same mindset. And some skipping. And here we are back at the spot where Nagakura showed up. After Inoue had been shot. Inoue and Nagakura had saved me. And now, the men they spared. You monsters! Anger boiled from the pit of my stomach. Once again, I reached for my kodachi and stood up. But then, a shock zipped through me, and I felt something hot spreading through my chest. Huh? The pain didn't register immediately, and I think my body was numb to it. It was as if it weren't actually happening to me. Then, slowly, my vision grew dim, and white covered my eyes. Looks like black to me. The strength to stand left my legs. I fell to my knees. I reached my hand out one last time for them, and my consciousness fell black. Well, that was really short. But yep, that's it for what this game holds for Nagakura Shinpachi. Next, we will be doing Chikage Kazama. I'm so glad Nagakura has a route in this game. So glad. I mean, I still wish Shiranui and Amagiri had routes, but, I'm really glad about the guys who did get them, still. I mean, he was such a sweetheart, I totally felt like he deserved a route in the first game. I definitely can't wait to see how he turns out in the next game. So yep, finally, I get to get back with my boy, Chikage Kazama, in the next episode. I can't wait! I love him so much. Yeah, in my rankings, Kazama's number 1, Saito is number 2, Ryoma Sakamoto is number 3. And, everybody else is number 4. Because I just love all the characters so much. Alright, so, hope to see you in the next episode or in some of my other videos. And I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye bye, everybody.